Hi everyone, Amy here with Never Grow Up Vacations, and now it's time to come fly with Amy. So, as most of you probably know from social media, I just got back from a Walt Disney World vacation last week, and it was amazing. I will give a little hint, the weather right now is just very hit or miss. Bring warm clothing, because the one day we were there, it rained torrentially all day. We were soaked, so bring extra pairs of shoes in case yours get wet, and then also bring like sweatpants, pullovers. The one day it was like 55 degrees, which we don't really care so much because we're used to that, but if you're not from the north, burr. So at any rate, today's vlog is going to kind of be talking about Genie Plus and Lightning Lane. I know people are a little bit confused by the system, and I'll fully admit, up until I used it, I was a little bit confused as well. I've read all the articles there are about it, but until you actually use it, it is a little bit confusing. So for those of you who don't know, let's kind of, backtrack this and explain this. So Disney just started a couple weeks ago a new Genie Plus and Lightning Lane paid Fast Pass system. So there's a couple things to know. Every guest who purchases a park ticket has access to Genie. Genie is implemented in the updated My Disney Experience app. So if you already have the My Disney Experience app downloaded on your phone, update it if you haven't, and it's gonna look a little bit different. So when you now go into the app, you'll have an option to click on My Genie Day, and then on that, there is a tip board that starts to give you prompts as to when to do things. Basically, it's taking all of the lines into consideration while you're in the park, and it's saying, hey, do this next. Hey, do this next. Hey, you can eat here. It's really suggesting how your day can most be effective. So that's free. That service is great. It's free. It's a little bit confusing until you get in there just with wayfinding. Like, it does take a little bit of a minute just to kind of like orient yourself with all of the functionality of that. But that Genie is free to everyone to use. So I recommend updating your app. The next piece you need to know, Genie Plus, that is your overall paid Fast Pass. So that, as of today, is $15 per person per day. And what it does is you can add it on before your trip. If you want to add it on before your trip, you have to do it for length of stay. You would do that by contacting your travel agent, or if you chose not to use a travel agent, you would need to call yourself or try to do it online. Wait times have been very long. I know the day I updated my own, 3-hour long wait, so allocate some time if you do have to call in, because waits are a little bit long right now, or book with a travel agent next time and you don't have to worry about waiting. So you can add on prior to your trip for length of stay, or if you choose to not want it every single day of your trip, you can add it on the same day before 7. So basically any time after 12:01 a.m. up until 7 a.m. ideally is when you want to add it, and I'll explain why in just a minute. You can do it very easily through the app. You just go in, and under like tip board, it will prompt you to add it on just for that one day. So $15 plus taxes and fees. So it's a little bit over 15. If you are an annual pass holder, you need to add it on the same day, because otherwise, you can't, there's no way to add it on for every day. And if you did, that'd be tons and tons and tons of money, right? So do keep that in mind, that you do need to do that through the app. So let me kind of break down Genie Plus, and then I'll talk about Lightning Lane. So Genie Plus, $15. That's $15 if you use it for 2 rides or if you use it for 8 rides. We used it all 3 days of our trip. We had a 3-day park hopper ticket, at least for my sister. I'm an annual pass holder. You have to be on the app at exactly 7 a.m. because that is when you can get your very first Genie Plus. Every day that we used the Genie Plus, we got anywhere between 5 and 7 paid Fast Passes, right? And obviously it saved us a whole lot of time. which is the intention of using Genie Plus. So let's say, for example, Navi River Journey. That posted wait time was like 75 minutes, which, that's a long line. We ended up waiting 5 minutes with Genie Plus. So all of the waits were almost walk-ons. We ended up waiting no more than, I would say, about 20 minutes max with the Genie Plus, but almost every ride was a walk-on. So you wake up at 7, you get your first one. And then what happens is you go to the park when it opens, 7, 8, 9, whenever that posted time is. Once you get into the park, you can then choose your next paid fast pass 2 hours after, right? So what we found was helpful. So we woke up early, got our first one at 7. When you go to try to click another Genie Plus, it'll say, nope, you can't do it. Click on the edit button on that page and it'll tell you the exact time that you can get your next one. So what we did was just on our little Apple Watches, we set the next timer for 11:13 or, a couple minutes prior to your go time, because then you're ready, and that's what we kept doing. Now keep in mind if you use it. So let's say you wake up at 7, get your first fast pass for Tower of Terror at 9:05. Let's say you use it at 9:05, you can then pick another one earlier than that 2-hour window. But again, you want to go into the app, try to select another one, find out the official time you can select it, and then set your timer, excuse me. The other thing too is certain attractions will sell out on the Genie Plus. And what I mean by sell out is Slinky Dog Dash, perfect example. That's a very, very, very popular Genie Plus. So by like 7:30 a.m., after people have selected their first one, there's no more Slinky Dogs to get. So what I would recommend doing is doing a little bit of research, finding out which ones are popular, and make sure you get that one. So on our Hollywood Studios morning, we knew Slinky Dog was popular. So right at 7 a.m., I was in there, and we ended up getting one for 11:55 already. And that was right at 7 a.m. So it's harder to get one. So that's your first little tidbit there. We really liked the Genie Plus. We thought it was so helpful. It allowed us to get on more rides with less of a wait. I think that the value of $15 is worth it. Me as an annual pass holder, I will not be getting Genie Plus every single visit, because keep in mind, in a given year, I may be in the parks 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. If I added on Genie Plus all the days I was there, that's like the cost of an annual pass. Like, it would just be too much money, right? So me personally, as a pass holder who goes a whole lot, I will not be using Genie Plus every single day. But in the example of me bringing my sister hadn't been to Disney World in almost 2 years, hasn't been on a lot of the newer rides. Super worth it for her and for us as a joint team, because she got on everything. I got to ride everything with her. So in that circumstance, if you don't go as frequently, definitely for you. If you have small kids who you are like, I cannot put these kids in a line for an hour, Genie Plus is definitely for you. But the one thing to take into consideration when making that decision, whether to pre-purchase it or even that same day, is height restrictions. So if you have some small kiddos who maybe can't go on Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, Slinky Dog, like maybe it's not as beneficial for you for that Hollywood Studios day, but it may be super beneficial for you at Magic Kingdom. So definitely take some of those into consideration when considering Genie Plus. So now let's kind of change topic a little bit to Lightning Lane. Lightning Lane is an additional experience, paid experience, above and beyond Genie Plus. So there's a listing on the Disney World website that says these rides are included in Genie Plus. These rides are included in Lightning Lane. The Lightning Lane rides, as of today's filming, Hollywood Studios, Rise of the Resistance, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Epcot is Frozen and Remy's Ratatouille, Animal Kingdom is Flight of Passage and Everest, Expedition Everest. And then Magic Kingdom is Space Mountain and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So all those rides that I just mentioned, you cannot get with the Genie Plus with that $15 cost. They are considered more premium attractions. So what you can do, if you're an on-site resort guest at 7 a.m., you can start purchasing those one-time ride passes. Those ride passes for all those attractions I just mentioned range from $7 up to $15. That does sometimes change based on time of year, based upon popularity. So for example, I paid $7 per person for Space Mountain, and then I paid $15 per person on Rise. Yes, we did end up choosing some Lightning Lane in addition to Genie. And again, for our trip, it was just because my sister hadn't been on a lot, so I wanted her to get on everything, and we didn't want to wait, 3 hours. So, speaking of Lightning Lane, one-time use only. You can only purchase one Lightning Lane per day per attraction, so you can't be buying like 12 Rise of the Resistance Lightnings. It just won't let you do it. It does give you a time slot, and they do sometimes sell out. So for example, Rise of the Resistance, very popular. Our first day at Hollywood Studios, the second we walked into the park at 9, they were sold out for the day. It's just the way it happened. A whole bunch of resort guests got them, and it wasn't working out for us. I think we could have got one, but it was about for, $8.55, and we were gonna park hop that day. So it just didn't make sense for us that day. So the first day we did end up waiting 2.5 hours for Rise. And of course that was our own decision, and we did it, and I didn't want to wait 2.5 hours, but it was definitely worth the ride. Our second Hollywood Studios day, we did pay for the Lightning Lane. It was $15 a person, and super worth it. For us, that cost in our mind was pretty, minimal to not have to wait 3 hours. So it's really up to you and your party and how long you're there for. We only did 3 park hopping days, and it was a pretty jam-packed trip. 3 days on a park hopper is still pretty quick. But if you're there for a week, let's say you have a 7-day ticket, even if it's 1 park per day, you're still probably gonna get, 2 park days-ish on most of yours. So you may have the time to spend in line. So, when making those decisions, it's just about, what your family is like, who you're traveling with, how long you're there for, and what's really important to you. You could, in theory, not purchase a Genie at all, just wait on those rides, and then you could purchase Mickey and Minnie's and Rise for the same day and then zoom on those. So, you can really customize your day that way. Keep in mind, Lightning Lane needs to be added on the same day. Cannot pre-purchase that. So, all in all, between our Genie and our Lightning Lane, I think we maybe spent, I didn't officially do the calculation, but in my head, we probably spent an extra maybe $175 for the 2 of us. I know that sounds like a lot of money. We typically do a little bit longer of a trip. So we would have probably, if schedules would have worked, we probably would have done a 4-day park ticket, and it only worked out that we could do a 3 hopper. So for us, it was about the cost of what would have been her extra ticket for the day. So in my mind, the money was well spent. We got to ride everything we wanted to. It's nice not to have to wait in those super long lines, especially if you're limited on time. I know for some families, obviously we are a traveling party of 2. If you're a traveling party of 4 or more, what would have been $175 for us could be $500 for you. So again, Genie Plus, Lightning Lane, it's really different for every type of family. And I can't say to every family it's for you. It just depends on how you like to travel, what are your expectations while at Disney World, and how long are you there for. So overall, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed Lightning Lane. I enjoyed Genie Plus. I would recommend getting them, especially depending on what type of year. If you're gonna be traveling around the holidays, just get it, because lines are gonna be long. So I will get it at some other point. As I mentioned, I'm an annual pass holder. I won't get it every single time I go into the parks, but I will get it sometimes. And sometimes I'll probably just get Lightning Lane because I just feel like it. So let me know if you have any other questions. I hope this video somewhat clarifies the whole Genie Plus, Lightning Lane. I know it can be confusing, so be sure to book with somebody who can explain this to you. This is going to continue to evolve. This is very new. So, I mean, a year from today, everything I just told you could not be relevant anymore. So, you know, as we all know, Disney is constantly evolving for guest experience. So, you know, the filming today, it might not be accurate anymore. So it's easy to get very overwhelmed, and don't let that happen by booking with a travel professional who can really take some of that burden and explain that to you and really walk you through what's best for you and your family. If you have any questions about Genie Plus, anything I did not cover in this video, feel free to drop a comment down below. If you're interested in booking your next Disney World, Disney land trip, any vacation at all, you let me know. Travel is on the rise again, and I'm so happy to see it. My contact information is in the description down below as well. If you thought this video was helpful, give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe, because I got so much more content coming your way, because boy, do I have some surprises to share with you in the next coming weeks. Until next time, happy travels. Bye.